If you're thinking about buying the Gigabyte B850i AORUS Pro motherboard for your AMD Ryzen 7000 or newer build, you might want to hit pause first. This little ITX board promises killer performance with PCIe 5.0 and DDR5 support. But here's what surprised me. It's not all smooth sailing. In fact, despite its premium price of nearly $260, users have reported some quirks that could seriously affect your build's stability and value. But don't just take my word for it. Stick around, because by the end of this review, you'll know exactly whether this compact powerhouse deserves a place in your rig or if you should shop elsewhere. Let me start by saying the Gigabyte B850i AORUS Pro looks impressive on paper. It's designed for AMD socket AM5, supporting AMD Ryzen 9000, 8000, and 7000 series processors. You get two DIMM slots with cutting-edge DDR5 compatibility, an upgraded 8+2+1 power phase design with those beefy 80A smart power stages, PCIe 5.0 readiness, dual M.2 slots with thermal guards, and USB-C connectivity. On paper, it's like the Swiss Army knife of mini-ITX motherboards, but unfortunately, the reality hits harder than an overclocked 7900X running blender. So, who exactly is this board for? Short answer: enthusiasts building super compact gaming or content creation PCs who want the latest tech in a teeny-tiny footprint. Small form factor builders love ITX mobos because they save space without sacrificing a ton of performance. But if you're a builder who demands rock-solid stability, excellent BIOS support out of the box, and the best price-performance ratio, you might want to hear the full story first. Because while the B850i AORUS Pro offers potential, users find it somewhat like a hot rod with a flaky starter. It can let you down at the worst moments. Here's the twist. I came into this expecting flagship-level polish, but the B850i AORUS Pro feels a bit like a first date that promises a lot, but then keeps checking their phone. Benchmark scores and specs look great, but the devil's in the detail. BIOS bugs, awkward VRM thermal performance, and some connectivity quirks that leave questions hanging. Now, before you hit the panic button, I've got all the juicy details coming up, plus some handy tips if you decide to go ahead with this board anyway. And yes, I'll lighten things up because, let's be honest, no one wants a dry tech review that feels like a lecture from your motherboard's BIOS update screen. Alright, let's deep dive. First, let's talk power delivery and thermals. The 8+2+1 digital VRM design with 80A smart power stages sounds like a dream for overclockers and power users. It's supposed to deliver stable power to those hungry Ryzen 7000 series CPUs. But in real-world testing reported by users and feedback on forums, the VRM temperatures can creep up under extended heavy loads. Gigabyte's advertised VRM and M.2 thermal guard do keep things cooler than some competitors, but not so much cooler that you can ignore the chassis airflow design altogether. Some users even found their compact cases would end up hotter than expected, causing the motherboard thermal throttling to kick in during stressful gaming or rendering sessions. Now, here's where we hit one of the bigger quirks: the BIOS. Gigabyte's BIOS on the B850i has gotten mixed reviews. While the interface is easy enough to navigate, many first-time BIOS flashes are mandatory to ensure proper CPU recognition and RAM stability. Some users ran into random resets or boot loops before updating to the latest firmware. And if you're new to BIOS updates, that can be a headache when you just want your build to work. But wait, there's a joke here. Why did the motherboard go to therapy? Because it had too many unresolved bugs. Okay, I'll stop with the tech humor. Connectivity is another area that's worth scrutinizing. With two M.2 slots supporting PCIe 5.0 and PCIe 4.0 devices, plus multiple USB ports including USB-C, it delivers flexibility on paper. but a handful of buyers reported SSD thermal throttling, despite the thermal guards when cramming high-speed drives into tight mini-ITX cases. Also, those small form factors can make cable management tricky and exacerbate heat issues if you're not careful. So it's not that the board lacks features, it's more that your case choice and airflow setup become critical factors to avoid bottlenecking this board's potential. Let me throw in a quick story here. One user built a sleek living room gaming PC using this board, dreaming of silent, powerful performance. After a few weeks, the system started randomly shutting down during gaming marathons. The culprit: VRM overheating due to poor case ventilation, and a BIOS that struggled with fan curve optimization on this model. After tweaking BIOS settings, adding a side fan and updating firmware, stability improved drastically. So it's not that the board is impossible to work with, but it demands some extra know-how. What about overall value? At roughly $260, the B850i AORUS Pro sits in a mid to high price range for mini-ITX AM5 boards. You're paying a premium for DDR5, PCIe 5.0, and Gigabyte's brand cachet. But considering the reported bugs and the need for BIOS updates or cooling tweaks, some users find better bang for their buck in slightly older or competing models, especially if you don't need PCIe 5.0 today. It's a delicate balance. You're buying future-proofing but sacrificing some out-of-the-box stability. Speaking of future-proofing, here's an open question for you. Are you the type of builder who loves tinkering, updating BIOSes regularly, and optimizing every screw and fan? Or do you just want something that works right away? Because if it's the latter, this board might test your patience. But if you delight in the tech journey, the B850i AORUS Pro can be a rewarding platform, once you navigate the quirks. Now on to performance. Standard benchmarks with Ryzen 7000 processors show the board keeps pace with similarly priced competitors. Memory speed support for DDR5 6000 MHz and above means you're not bottlenecked there, and PCIe 5.0 opens the door for next-gen GPUs and SSDs, provided you've got the cases and cooling sorted out. That said, for gaming and content creation, stability and thermal management weigh more heavily than raw specs alone. It's like owning a race car. You need good tires and maintenance, not just horsepower under the hood. Let's sprinkle another joke in before we move forward. Why don't motherboards ever get lost? Because they always follow the circuit. Okay, I admit, I'm late to the motherboard comedy circuit. If you're worried about aesthetics, Gigabyte offers a sleek design with RGB lighting and a clean layout that fits beautifully in most mini-ITX cases. The build quality matches the price point. You're getting solid capacitors, premium components, and a daughter board for additional USB ports. But remember, mini-ITX boards inherently come with compromises in expandability. There's no room for multiple GPUs or a slew of PCIe cards. If you need that, this board isn't for you. So what's the resolution here? Should you avoid the Gigabyte B850i AORUS Pro altogether? Not necessarily. Despite its rough edges, this board can be an excellent choice if you fit the profile. Someone who wants a compact build with the latest AMD AM5 CPU support, cutting-edge DDR5, and PCIe 5.0 connectivity. Be prepared to spend a little extra time on BIOS updates and case airflow optimization. If you're buying for pure plug-and-play performance with zero fuss, you might find better alternatives from ASUS or MSI. Now, here's the final curveball. Gigabyte is known for updating firmware pretty regularly, which means some of the earlier headaches could be smoothed out with future BIOS revisions. So, if you don't mind being on the edge of tech and like frequent updates, this motherboard could evolve into a winner. And if part of building tech gear is the thrill of fine-tuning and conquering challenges, the B850i AORUS Pro delivers a rewarding experience. In closing, the Gigabyte B850i AORUS Pro brings a lot to the table. A compact ITX form factor packed with AM5 support, DDR5 memory, PCIe 5.0 readiness, and a premium power design. However, it carries some caveats. The BIOS requires updates to fix bugs, VRM thermals can get warm under load, and your case and cooling decisions heavily impact performance. It's not a perfect board, but it's one that can thrive in the right hands. If you're building a small but future-proof Ryzen 7000 system and enjoy a little DIY optimization, then this board deserves serious consideration. For those who want seamless plug-and-play or are on a budget, exploring other boards may be more rewarding. Still interested? The best place to check out pricing and grab the latest deal is on Amazon. Links in the description below. I'll also keep an eye out and update the link for the best price, because no one likes paying extra just to overclock their wallet. Thanks for watching, and if you found this review helpful, hit that like button, subscribe for more honest tech reviews, and drop a comment with your experiences or questions about the Gigabyte B850i AORUS Pro. Remember, building your dream PC doesn't have to be a nightmare, unless your motherboard decides to ghost you like an ex. Now go build something epic.